marketing and business development is one of the most challenging areas that advisors are dealing with. In fact, when I talk with an experienced advisor and I ask them what kind of things keep them up at night, invariably in the top three, it's marketing, it's business development, it's prospecting, it's I've established my practice and I don't have any time to do business development anymore because I have so many clients to serve. So the things that help these advisors that are very successful in the business already get to that point are no longer available for them to do in their business because they're so busy doing so many other things. So when I talk to them about establishing teaming and what teaming will allow them to do as it relates to business development, it makes it that much more attractive. So when you look at what teams do, because there's established roles and responsibilities, they can do more, they can take on more than someone that doesn't have that kind of infrastructure. Let me give you an example. If I meet with a sole practitioner and I make a suggestion to add these 3 ideas or this one idea to their practice, oftentimes the reaction I get is, when am I going to do that? I don't have enough time in the day right now to do what I have to do by myself, and now you're asking me to establish a target market or get involved in another marketing initiative. It becomes less a reality. It becomes complicated for the sole practitioner. But for a team-based environment, you can add initiative after initiative after initiative and have the team establish it in their weekly meetings, and the chances of those initiatives becoming a simple and sustainable strategy are much more likely. So the impact on business development is probably the greatest factor when you look at some of those numbers that we've talked about in terms of vertical growth of teams. That is occurring because they can simply do more in the amount of time that they have on a day-to-day basis. When we begin to work with teams and they get more systematized as it relates to some key strategies, we keep it very simple. We ask teams, after they have established roles, responsibilities, how frequently they're going to meet, agendas, establish their overall vision, then it gets into the fun stuff. The fun stuff becomes, how am I going to get all this accomplished? And we basically take 2 main pillars to support teams. One is a new client acquisition strategy, and the other is a client management strategy. So if I just focus on the new client acquisition strategy for a moment, within that new client acquisition strategy, it allows teams to focus on their best relationships, their top 20, 30, 40 customers. Oftentimes within those relationships, there are common industries that are being served. When you have an organization that may have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus teams, you start to have crossover of common relationships in specific industries. We have often established advisory boards that serve a common target market, whether it be things like the healthcare industry or food and hospitality or construction or technology. Based on the geographies that your teams are currently in, that'll dictate, what type of businesses are in those geographies. But establishing advisory boards has been very lucrative for our teams and for the organization as it relates to creating brand awareness within the communities that we serve. So we may have 12, 15, 20 individuals that are on, let's say, a construction advisory board. And we would not be able to bring those folks together by ourselves. Or one team, it is unlikely that they would be able to do that by themselves. But because we have established teams, and because they have a new client acquisition system, and they're targeting their best relationships, we could create a collaborative approach within the organization and establish advisory boards that help us be perceived as experts in the industries that we currently serve. So target marketing becomes very much an integral part of team-based selling. It contributes to the new client acquisition system and contributes to overall retention of advisors, overall vertical growth of advisors, because they're getting introduced into markets that traditionally they would never be able to get introduced to.